Mitch from Sweetwater. Today we're taking a look at the TONEX Cab from IK Multimedia. Now this completes the TONEX Ecosystem, which consists of the TONEX Cab, as I just mentioned, TONEX One, the TONEX Pedal, there's a TONEX app for iOS, there's software for Mac and PC, there's plugins, there's a TONEX Cab editor that now goes with this, there's a TONEX editor on the way, we've also got sound libraries. There's so much happening in the TONEX world, and we're going to take a look here today with special focus on this brand new TONEX Cab. You're probably familiar with the TONEX Pedal and the TONEX One. These are two pedals from IK Multimedia that allow you to load in IRs, you can load in captures of amplifiers. They have a ToneNet, which is a service that allows you to download captures and IRs that have been uploaded by other people. You can recreate just about any amp or pedal sound using this. You can capture drive pedals, there's built-in delay, reverb, compression, noise gating. So these are really a full-featured modeler that can give you complete tones right at the touch of a finger. What's been missing from the TONEX is a way to really take this on stage and use it like an amplifier. And that's where the TONEX Cab comes in. The TONEX Cab is a 350 watt RMS amplifier that's been specifically designed to work well with modelers, certainly with the TONEX, but it'll work with any modeler that's out there. Couple of really great things about the TONEX Cab. As I mentioned, the TONEX Cab has 350 watts RMS, actually 700 watts peak, so it's plenty loud to take on stage. I've got it at about 3 on the dial here today, and it's plenty loud here where we're recording. Now the TONEX Cab has a single specially designed Celestion 12-inch speaker, and it also has a special 1-inch driver for the top end as well. Now this 1-inch driver is very important because it has the directivity has been very specifically designed to recreate the dispersion that you'd get with a regular guitar amplifier. That's very important because it makes it respond and feel like an amp. Now we can shape the sound here with an onboard 3-band EQ, as well as an amp tone control. Now that amp tone control is very important because it not only controls the mid-range characteristics, the presence characteristics, but it also seems to affect the dispersion quality as well. And that really lets you dial in the feel and the response you want from this on stage when you're using it with a modeler. You can also load IRs directly into the TONEX Cab. There are 8 presets here, and those presets store the equalization settings, the 3-band EQ. They also store the amp tone control setting, and you can load in an IR. So you can have 8 different presets. You can recall them right from the TONEX Cab itself. You can recall them through MIDI. As I mentioned, there's a TONEX Cab app that you can use to control this as well. So it's very versatile. You can have completely different IR, completely different settings for the different sounds you have in your modeler, the TONEX or whatever you might be using. As you can see, the TONEX Cab is very compact. It actually comes in at 28 pounds, which is quite a bit less than even, say, a Fender Princeton amplifier. Nice and compact, nice and lightweight, plenty of power. It's a solid wood cabinet, so it sounds and responds, again, like an amplifier. You can tilt it back so it aims right at you on stage, and we actually have dual inputs here. First, we have a combi input that's your main input from your modeler or other device that you're routing in here. So that's an XLR or 1/4 inch, whatever type of output is on your modeler that you're using to feed the TONEX Cab. But we also have an aux input, and this is very cool because that aux input can be used to, say, run music from a player through there, so you can play along with it. But it also means that you could take this on stage and use it as your wedge monitor in front of you. You could bring a monitor feed into that aux input and then balance your guitar tone that's coming in the instrument input and have your own monitor system right in front of you. With 2 of them, you get a beautiful stereo spread. There's a USB port on the back, and that's of course used for firmware updates. It's also used to load custom IRs if you choose, and it connects with the TONEX Cab software as well. A couple of other important features. On the back panel, there's an XLR output. Now this can be set to either pre or post processing. So why would you do that? If you're feeding to front of house from here, you're not using a microphone, you want to take it direct out, you definitely want to set it to post-processing so you're getting the IR, so you're getting the EQ and so on that you're using on stage sent out to the front of house mixer. Same thing if you're working in the studio. You might want to run that process signal directly into your DAW. Or you might want to set it to pre. When it's set to pre, you're basically getting the sound that's coming straight out of your modeler through the TONEX cab and then directly back out without any additional processing from the cab itself. Now this is great for recording in a DAW if you want to add IRs later, and it's also great if you're linking multiple TONEX cabs together to create a bigger system, if you're stacking them up, say, for more volume or more coverage on stage. To get you started, the TONEX cab includes Amplitude 5 software, so you've got guitar tones right there that you can plug in and use from your computer. It also comes with the TONEX SE software as well as the TONEX cab control software. So let me tell you about my system that I have here today. I've got two TONEX cabs, so I'm running in stereo. It's very cool. It sounds great right here where I'm sitting. I'm driving it all from the TONEX pedal, and this is providing my amp captures as well as my speaker IRs. So this is really what's driving the whole thing. In front of the TONEX pedal, I have a TONEX 1. Now the TONEX 1 has all the features basically of the TONEX, but what I'm using it for is to load a capture we did here at Sweetwater of an original Klon pedal. So it's providing my boost and my drive when I run it into the TONEX. So basically all of my sound is being created here. Coming out of the TONEX and into the TONEX cabs, I've got a TC Electronic flashback as well as a Hall of Fame 2. These are providing my stereo ambience. Now I could be running the effects inside the TONEX. In this case, I've chosen to use external pedals just so I can easily turn them on and off and change my settings as I'm working here. I should also mention, everything can be MIDI controlled. There's a MIDI in and a MIDI out on the TONEX cab. We could be changing those presets along with our presets here on the TONEX just by hitting a switch and controlling it through MIDI. Now we have the option of having the IRs in our TONEX pedal or our other modeler that we might be using, or using the IRs here. You can also bypass the IRs inside the TONEX cab, so you're running just the sound that's coming from your modeler. And that's what I'm doing in this case, so we aren't getting double IRs. The IRs are in the TONEX. I've got a variety of sounds here in my TONEX. I've started off with some of the captures we did of my prototype Rivera Stage 4 modded Deluxe. As I mentioned, I've got a vintage Klon inside the TONEX 1. I've got some other captures here. I've loaded in some of the Dumble captures from IK Multimedia, some of the Mesa Boogie captures from IK Multimedia. So a wide range of different sounds are in here, and we'll step through some of those. Capturing all of this with microphones is challenging because, again, we have a 12-inch driver and we have a compression driver on the high frequencies. So we set this up with two different microphones. We've got a dynamic microphone on the 12-inch speaker, and then we've got a ribbon microphone, a Royer 121, that's on the high frequency driver. We've also got an AEA N8 stereo ribbon mic that's out in the room, giving us just a little bit of capture there. Really sounds fantastic to my ears. What I'm really liking about this system is it feels like I'm playing through an amplifier, and a great test for me is I've called up some of the captures of my Rivera prototype. So this is a setting on the Rivera that's sort of a mid-crunch setting, and I'm listening to it again through these TONEX cabs, and it feels and it sounds to me as if I'm sitting in front of my own amplifier with vintage Electro Voice EVM 12L speakers. That really feels and sounds to me exactly like my amp. Now, I've tried this through other FR speakers, and there's always an edginess to it. There's always just something that doesn't feel quite right. I'm really impressed with the TONEX Cab because it feels very real to me. The dispersion seems right, the bottom end seems right. Being able to tailor it a little bit with EQ if you want to is certainly a possibility as well. Now, this is a Plexi that we captured here at Sweetwater. Now we can hit that with the Klon that's inside the TONEX One. It really, again, feels and responds like a real amplifier. You can clean things up with your volume control. It really is very responsive. Here's a scoop tone we did with my prototype Rivera. I can really hear the pick against the strings in this case. I'm getting a lot of great articulation here. Again, just like the real amp. This is a setting that I use with my band, my jazz band, and so it's got a dark kind of mid-range, real woody kind of tone, and the TONEX Cab is translating that perfectly. I've mentioned the amp tone control a few times, and it's a very important control for dialing in exactly the sound and response you want from this amplifier. So let me show you sort of the extremes of what it'll do. I've got it set all the way up to the live setting. Now let's set it all the way down. Now I'll bring it up to 12 o'clock. And now all the way at the live setting. That's a very effective control at both shaping your sound as well as shaping the feel. It's affecting the mid-range, of course, we can really hear that, but also affecting the bottom end, the top end, and sort of the dispersion and the presence of the whole thing. Super effective control that makes a huge difference in how well the TONEX Cab works. If you've been looking for a way to amplify your modeler, whether a TONEX or any other modeler, you definitely want to check out the TONEX Cab. There are a lot of FR speakers out there that are designed to work with these type of modelers, but the TONEX Cab has really brought it to a new level. Having all those features built in makes it so easy to use, and it sounds absolutely great. I feel like I'm playing through the real amp. Check these out. For complete information on the TONEX Cab or anything in the TONEX ecosystem, head over to sweetwater.com, or like I always say, your best resource is your Sweetwater sales engineer. Contact them. They've got all the information. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.